Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganaragunatam Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivashikam Vitamscha Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananshana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samastabeda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govinda Bidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwagurun Shah Divyad Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pradam Devam Divyatanum Suchandabaranam Balarkachelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyambudim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Sarasatanam Baram Bandetam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishwara Shidharam Vanchakopatarubhyasya Kripasindhu Bhyevaja Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Adi-lila chapter 3, the external reasons for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Prabhum Bande Yat Padashraya Viryata Sangri Nati Akara Vratad Agya Siddhanta Sanmanin. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that by the potency of the shelter of his lotus feet, even a fool can collect the valuable jewels of conclusive truth from the minds of the revealed scriptures. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaurabhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Sri Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Tritiya Shlokarartha Koila Bibaran Chaturta Shlokarartha Shuna Bhaktagan. I've given the purport of the third verse. Now, all devotees, please listen to the meaning of the fourth with full attention. Anarpita charim chirat karuna yavatirna kalo samarpayitum unato jwala rasam swabhakti shriyam haripurata sundara Duti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Swaratuva Sachinandana. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost core of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So this is a verse from the Mangala Charan, the fourth verse, and this is giving Ashrbad, giving blessings to all the listeners and readers of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost core of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Purna Bhagavan Krishna Brajendra Kumar Goloke Brajera Sahan Nitya Bihar. Lord Krishna, the son of the king of Braja, is the Supreme Lord. He eternally enjoys transcendental pastimes in his eternal abode, Goloka, which includes Vrajadam. Brahmara ek dine tiho ek bar, avatirna hoya koren prakata bihar. Once in the day of Brahma, he descends to this world to manifest his transcendental pastimes. Satya Treta Dwarpara Kali Chari Juga Jani Se Chari Juge Dibya Ek Yugamani. We know that there are 4 ages, yugas, namely Satya, Treta, Dwarpara, and Kali. These 4 together constitute one Divya Yuga. Ekatara Chatur Juge Ek Manvantar Choda Manvantara Brahma Divasa Bitar. 71 Divya Yugas constitute one Manvantara. There are 14 Manvantaras and 1 day of Brahma. Vaivasvata Nama E Saptama Manvantar Shataisha Chatur Juga Taharantar. The present Manu, who is the 7th, is called Vaivasvata, the son of Vivasvan. 27 Divya Yugas, or 27 times 4,320,000 solar years of his age have now passed. The present Manu, who is the 7th, is called Vaivasvata, the son of Vivasvan. 27 Divya Yugas of his age have now passed. Ashtabimsha Chaturjuge Dwaparyar Seshe Brajara Sahite Hoy Krishnara Prakashe. At the end of the Dwapara Yuga, of the 28th Divya Yuga, Lord Krishna appears on earth with the full paraphernalia of his eternal Brajadam. Dasya Sakya Vatsaya Shringara Chariras Chari Bhavera Bhakta Jata Krishna Tarabas. Servitude, or dasya, friendship, sakya, parental affection, vatsalya, and conjugal love, shringara, are the 4 transcendental rasas, or mellows. By the devotees who cherish these 4 rasas, Lord Krishna is subdued. Dasya Sakya Pita Mata Kanta Gana Loya Braje Krida Kore Krishna Prema Vishta Hoya. Absorbed in such transcendental love, Sri Krishna enjoys in Braja with his devoted servants, friends, parents, and conjugal lovers. Jateshta Bihari Krishna Kore Antardana Kore Mani Kore Anuman. Lord Krishna enjoys his transcendental pastimes as long as he wishes, and then he disappears. After disappearing, however, he thinks thus. Chirakala nahi kore prema bhaktidan, bhakti bina jagatera nahi abastan. For a long time I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of the world. Without such loving attachment, the existence in the material world is useless. Sakala jagate more kore bidi bhakti braja bhava paita nahi shakti. Everywhere in the world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions, according to Vidhi Marg, just according to following rules and regulations. Everywhere in the world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such regulative principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Brajabhumi. So you can't capture Krishna just by following the Vidhi Marg, just by following rules and regulations. Aishvarya Jnanate Sab Jagat Mishrita Aishvarya Shitila Preme Nahi Mora Prita. Knowing my opulences, the whole world looks upon me with awe and veneration. But devotion made feeble by such reverence does not attract me. So this is Aishvarya Gyan, goes with Vidhi Marg and rules and regulations, and this is the predominant sentiment of Vaikuntha Loka, but it's not the sentiment of Goloka Vrindavan, or what Lord Chaitanya comes to give. Aishvarya Jnane Vidhi Bhajan Korea Vaikuntha Ke Jai Chatur Bida muktipaya. By performing such regulated devotional service in awe and veneration, or in with Aishvarya Gyan, sense of awe, veneration, majesty, formality. By performing such regulated devotional service in awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and attain the four kinds of liberation. Sharsti Sarupya Ara Samipya Salokya Sayujana Loe Bhakta Jati Brahma Aikya. These liberations are Sharsti, achieving opulence equal to those of the Lord; Sarupya, having a form the same as the Lord's; Samipya, living as a personal associate of the Lord; and Salokya, living on a Vaikuntha planet. Devotees never accept Sayuja, however, since that is oneness with Brahman. Jugadharma Pravartaimu Nama Sankirtan Charibhava Bhakti Dibya Nachamu Bhuvan. I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nam Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the whole world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four rasas of loving devotional service. I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age, Nam Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. Apane korimu bhakta bhava angikare, apaniya chari bhakti shikaimu sabare. I shall accept the role of a devotee, and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. Apanena kaile dharma shikana najai, eta siddhanta gita bhagavate gai. Unless one practices devotional service oneself, one cannot teach it to others. This conclusion is indeed confirmed throughout the Gita and Bhagavatam. Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyatanam dharmasya taratmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. Utsidayor ime loka nakuryam karma chedaham shankarsha cha karta sham upahanya mimam praja. If I did not show the proper principles of religion, all these worlds would fall into ruin. I would be the cause of unwanted population and would spoil all these living beings. Yad yad acharati shreshtas tat tad evetaro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. Whatever actions a great man performs, common people follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Yugadharma pravartana hoy amsha hoite amabina anyenare braja premat dite. My plenary portions can establish the principles of religion for each age, or can give the Yugadharma. No one but me, however, can bestow the kind of loving service performed by the residents of Braja. So only Krishna himself can give what is the worship of Vrindavan among his those devotees who are related with him, or intimately related with him. San Vavatara Bhava Pankaja Navasya Sarvato Badra Krishnad anya kovalatase api premado bhavati sanvavatara bahava pankaja nabashya sarvato badra Krishnad anya kovalatas vapi premado bhavati. There may be many auspicious incarnations of the personality of Godhead, but no one other than Sri Krishna can bestow love of God upon the surrendered souls. Tahate apana bhaktagan kore sange prativite avatare koremu nanarange. Therefore, in the company of my devotees, I shall appear on earth and perform various colorful pastimes. Eta Babi Kali Kali Pratama Sanjay Avatirna Hoila Krishna Apani Nadijai. Thinking this, Sri Krishna himself descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. Chaitanya Chaitanya Simera Navadipe Avatar Simagriva Simabirya Simhera Hunkar. Thus the lion-like Lord Chaitanya has appeared in Navadip. He has the shoulders of a lion, the powers of a lion, and the loud voice of a lion. Say Simabasu Jiver Hridaya Kandare Kalmasha Virada Nashe Jahara Hunkare. May that lion be seated in the core of the heart of every living being. Thus, with his resounding roar, may he drive away one's elephantine vices. Pratama Lilayatara Vishwambaranam Bhakti Rase Barila Darila Bhutagram. In his early pastimes, he is known as Vishwambar because he floods the world with the nectar of devotion and thus saves the living beings. Dubrin Datura Arta Poshana Dharana Pushila Darila Prema Diya Tribhuvana. The verbal root, Dubrin, which is the root of the word Vishwambar, indicates nourishing and maintaining. He, Lord Chaitanya, nourishes and maintains the three worlds by distributing love of God. Sesha Lilaya Dare Nama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sri Krishna Janaye Sab Vishwakoiladanya. In his later pastimes, he is known as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Sri Krishna. Tara Juga Avatara Jane Garga Mahashai Krishnara Nama Karane Kuriyache Nirnoy. Knowing him, Lord Chaitanya, to be the incarnation for Kali Yuga, Gargamuni, during the naming ceremony of Krishna, predicted his appearance. Asan Varnas Trayo Yashya Grinato Nu Yugam Tanu Shuklo Raktas Tatapita Idanim Krishnatam Gata. This boy, Krishna, has three other colors, white, red, and yellow, as he appears in different ages. Now he has appeared in a transcendental blackish color. Shukla Rakta Pita Varna E Tindyuti Satyatreta Kalikali Dharma Sripati. White, red, and yellow. These are the three bodily lusters that the Lord, the husband of the goddess of fortune, assumes in the ages of Satya, Treta, and Kali, respectively. Idanim Dapare Tiho Hoila Krishna Barna Esab Shastragam Puranera Marma. Now in the Dwarpara Yuga, the Lord has descended in a blackish hue. This is the essence of the statements in the Puranas and other Vedic literatures with reference to the context. So this is a reference to Gargamuni's pronouncements about Krishna. He's saying, now in the Dwarpara Yuga, during the name-giving ceremony, Now in the Dwapara Yuga, the Lord has descended in a blackish hue. This is the essence of the statements in the Puranas and other Vedic literatures with reference to the context. Dwapare Bhagavan Shama Pitabasa Nijayuda Srivatsadibir Ankascha Lakshanar Upalakshita. In the Dwapara Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish yuga. He is dressed in yellow, he holds his own weapons, and he is decorated with the Kostaba jewel and marks of Shivats. This is how his symptoms are described. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by Saint Karabajan, one of the 9 royal mystics, who explained to King Nimi the different features of the Lord in different ages. So here this is a description of Krishna. In the Dwapara Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish hue. He is dressed in yellow, he holds his own weapons, and he is decorated with the Kaustuva jewel and marks of Srivatsa. This is how his symptoms are described. Kali Juge Jugadharma Namara Prachar Tatilagi Pitavarna Chaitanya Avatar. The religious practice for the age of Kali is to broadcast the glories of the holy name. Only for this purpose has the Lord in a yellow color descended as Lord Chaitanya. Tapta Hema Samakanti Prakanda Sharir Naba Mega Jini Kanta Dwani Jay Gambir. The luster of his expansive body resembles molten gold. The deep sound of his voice conquers the thundering of newly assembled clouds. Dargya Bistarije Apanarahat Chari Hastahoy Mahaparusha Vigyad. One who measures 4 cubits in height and in breadth by his own hand is celebrated as a great personality. Nyagroda Parimandala Hoy Taranam Nyagroda Parimandala Tanu Chaitanya Gunadam. Such a person is called Nyagroda Parimandal. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personifies all good qualities, has the body of a Nyagroda Parimandala. Ajanu Lambita Bhuja Kamala Lochan Tila Fula Jininasha Sudamshu Badan. His arms are long enough to reach his knees. His eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like a sesame flower, and his face is as beautiful as the moon. His arms are long enough to reach his knees. His eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like a sesame flower, and his face is as beautiful as the moon. Shanta Danta Krishna Bhakti Nishta Parayan Bhaktavatsala Shushila Sarva Bhutesam. He is peaceful, self-controlled, and fully devoted to the transcendental service of Lord Sri Krishna. He is affectionate towards his devotees. He is gentle and he is equally disposed toward all living beings. Chandanara Angada Bala, Chandana Bhushan, Nrityakali Parikoran, Krishna Sankirtan. He is decorated with sandalwood bangles and armlets and anointed with the pulp of sandalwood. He especially wears these decorations to dance in Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Esab Gunalaya Muni Vaishampayan Sahasraname Koila Taranama Ganan. Recording all these qualities of Lord Chaitanya, the sage Vaisampayana included his name in the Vishnu Sahasranam. Adi-lila Chaitanya Adi Arasesh Adi-lilaya Chari Charinama Abhisesh. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya have 2 divisions. The early pastimes, Adi-lila, and the later pastimes, Sesha-lila. He has 4 names in each of these 2 lilas. Suvarna Varna Hemango Varangas Chandanan Gadi Sanyasa Krich Chama Shanto Nishta Shanti Parayana. In his early pastimes, he appears as a householder with a golden complexion. His limbs are beautiful, and his body smeared with a pulp of sandalwood seems like molten gold. In his later pastimes, he accepts the sannyas order, and he is equipoised and peaceful. He is the highest abode of peace and devotion, for he silences the impersonalist non-devotees. Bhyakta kore bhagavate kohe barabar kali juge dharman nam sankirtana sar. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is repeatedly and clearly said that the essence of religion in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Iti dvarpara urvisha stuvanti jagad ishwaram nanatantra vidanena kalavapi yatashinu. O king, in this way, people in Dwarpara Yuga worship the Lord of the universe. In Kali Yuga, they also worship the Supreme Lord by the regulations of the revealed scriptures. Kindly now hear of that from me. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangas Raparshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Isumedasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Shunabai Esab Chaitanya Mahima Shloke Kohetara Mahimara Sima. My dear brothers, please hear all these glories of Lord Chaitanya. This verse clearly summarizes his activities and characteristics. Krishna Duibarna Sada Jaramuke Atama Krishna Ke Tiho Barne Nijasuke. The two syllables Krishna are always in his mouth, where he constantly describes Krishna with great pleasure. Krishna Barna Shabderarta Duita Praman Krishna Binu Taramuke Nahi Aishayan. There are two meanings to the word Krishna Varna. Indeed, nothing else but Krishna issues from his mouth. Keho Tare Bole Jadi Krishna Varan Asha Visheshane Tara Kore Nibaran. If someone tries to describe him as being of blackish complexion, the next adjective, Tvisha Krishnam, immediately restricts him. Deho kantye hoy teho akrishna varan akrishna varane kohe pita varan. His complexion is certainly not blackish. Indeed, his not being blackish indicates that his complexion is yellow. Kaloyam vidvamsha sutam abhiyajante dyutibarad akrishnangam krishnam maka vidibir utkirtanamayai upashyam cha prahuryam akila Chaturdashrama Jusham Sadevas Chaitanya Kritir Aditaram Na Kripayatu. By performing the sacrifice of sankirtan, of congregational chanting of the holy name, learned scholars in the age of Kali worship Lord Krishna, who is now non-blackish because of the great upsurge of the feelings of Srimati Radharani. He is the only worshipable deity for the Paramahamsas who have attained the highest stage of the fourth order, sannyas. May that Supreme Lord, Lord Chaitanya, show us his great causeless mercy. Pratyakatahara tapta kanshanera duty jahara chatayanashe agyana tamastati. One can vividly see his glowing complexion of molten gold, which dispels the darkness of ignorance. Jivera Kamashatamo Nasha Karibare Anga Upanga Nama Nana Astrabdare. The sinful life of the living beings results from ignorance. To destroy that ignorance, he has brought various weapons, such as his plenary associates, his devotees, and the holy name. Bhaktir Virodi Karma Dharma Va Adharma Taharakalmashanama Se Mahatama. The greatest ignorance consists of activities, whether religious or irreligious, that are opposed to devotional service. They are to be known as sins, kalmasha. Bahutuli Hari Boli Prema Drishtechai Korea Kalmashanasha Premate Bashai. Raising his arms, chanting the holy name, and looking upon all with deep love, he drives away all sins and floods everyone with love of Godhead. Smita Loka Shokam Harati Jagatam Yashaparito Giram Tu Pararamba Kushala Patalim Palavayati Paralamba Kam Va Pranayati Na I Prema Nivaham Sadevas Chaitanya Kritir Atitaram Na Kripayatu. May the Supreme Lord, may the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya bestow his causeless mercy upon us. His smiling glance at once drives away all the bereavements of the world, and his very words enliven the auspicious creepers of devotion by expanding their leaves. Taking shelter of his lotus feet invokes transcendental love of God at once. Shri Anga Shri Mukha Jai Kore Darshan Tarapapa Koi Hoi Paya Premadan. Anyone who looks upon his beautiful body or beautiful face becomes freed from all sins and obtains the wealth of love of Godhead. Anya Avatare Sab Shanya Shastra Sange Chaitanya Krishna Sanya Anga Upange. In other incarnations, the Lord descended with his armies and weapons, but in this incarnation, his soldiers are his plenary parts and associates. Saropasha Shriman Drita Manuja Kaya Pranayitam Vahadbir Gir Vanar Girisha Parameshti Prabhritibi Sabhaktebhya Shudham Nija Bhajanam Mudram Upadishan Sa Chaitanya Kim Me Bhunar Apidrishur Yashati Padam. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always the most worshipable deity of the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, who came in the garb of ordinary men, bearing love for him. He instructs his own pure devotional service to his own devotees. Will he again be the object of my vision? Angopanga Astrakori Swakarya Sadan Angas Shabdararta Arashuna Diyaman. His plenary parts and associates perform the work of weapons as their own specific duties. Please hear from me another meaning of the word Anga. Anga Shabde Amsha Kohe Shastra Praman Angera Avayava Upange Vyakyan. Anga Shabde Amsha Kohe Shastra Praman Angera Avayava Upange Vyakyan. According to the evidence of the revealed scriptures, a bodily limb, Anga, is also called a part, Amsha, and a part of a limb is called a partial part, Upanga. Narayanas Twamna Isarvadehinam Atmasi Yadi Shakila Lokasakshi Narayanangam Narabhujalayanat Tachapi Satyam Na Taivaivamaya. O Lord of Lords, you are the seer of all creation. You are indeed everyone's dearest life. Are you not therefore my father Narayan? Narayan refers to one whose abode is in the water born from Nara, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and that Narayan is your plenary portion. All your plenary portions are transcendental. They are absolute and are not creations of Maya. Jalashayi Antarjami Jai Narayana Seho Tomaramsha Tumi Mula Narayana. The manifestation of the Narayan who predominates in everyone's heart, as well as the Narayan who lives in the waters, Karana, Garbha, and Shira, is your plenary portion. You are therefore the original Narayan. Anga Shabdi Amsha Kohe Seho Satya Hoy Mayakarya Nahi Sab Chidanandamoy. The word Anga indeed refers to plenary portions. Such manifestations should never be considered products of material nature, for they are all transcendental, full of knowledge and full of bliss. Advaita Nityananda Chaitanyara Duyanga Angera Abhayaba Gana Kohiye Upanga. Sri Advaita Prabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu are both plenary portions of Lord Chaitanya. Thus, they are the limbs, angas, of his body. The parts of these two limbs are called the upangas. Angopanga, Titikshna, Astra Prabhura Sahite, Se Sab Astra Hoy, Pashanda Dalite. Thus the Lord is equipoised with sharp weapons in the form of his parts and plenary portions. All these weapons are competent enough to crush the faithless atheist. Nityananda Gosai Sakat Haladar, Advaita Charya Gosai Sakat Ishwar. Sri Nityananda Gosai is directly Haladar, Lord Balaram, and Advaita Charya is the personality of Godhead himself. Srivasari Parishad Shainyas Sangeloya Dui Sena Pati Bule Kirtana Koriya. These two captains with their soldiers, such as Srivas Thakur, travel everywhere, chanting the holy names of the Lord. Pashanda Dalana Bhana Nityananda Rai Acharya Hunkare Pap Pashandi Palai. Lord Nityananda's very features indicate that he is the subduer of the unbelievers. All sins and unbelievers flee from the loud shouts of Advaita Charya. Sankirtana Pravartika Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sankirtana Yagyetare Bhaje Sedanya. Lord Sri Chaitanya is the initiator of sankirtan, congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. One who worships him through sankirtan is fortunate indeed. Seta Sumeda Ara Kubudi Samsar Sarva Yagya Hoite Krishna Nama Yagyasar. Such a person is truly intelligent, whereas others, who have but a poor fund of knowledge, must endure the cycle of repeated birth and death. Of all sacrificial performances, the chanting of the Lord's holy name is the most sublime. So of all the sacrifices or yagyas that one can perform, Krishna Nama Yagya, that is chanting of the holy names, is the most sublime. Koti Ashrameda E Krishna Namasam Jekohe Se Pashande Dande Tarijam. One who says that 10 million Ashrameda sacrifices are equal to the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna is undoubtedly an atheist. He is sure to be punished by Yamaraj. So any kind of sacrifice which one may perform is insignificant when compared to the sankirtan of the Lord. Chanting, that is the prime sacrifice that one can perform, and it's no other sacrifice gives the result that one obtains by chanting Nam Sankirtan, the names of the Lord. Bhagavata Sandarbha Grantera Mangalacharane Eshloka Jiva Gosai Korijachin Vyakyane. In the auspicious introduction to the Bhagavat Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami has given the following verse as an explanation. Anda Krishnam Bahir Gauram Darshitangadi Vaibhavam Kalo Sankirtan Adhyasma Krishna Chaitanyam Ashrita. I take shelter of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is outwardly of a fair complexion, but is inwardly Krishna himself. In this age of Kali, he displays his expansions, his angas and upangas, by performing congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. I take shelter of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is outwardly of a fair complexion, but is inwardly Krishna himself. In this age of Kali, he displays his expansions, his angas and upangas, by performing Nam Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Upa Puraneha Shuni Shri Krishna Bachan Kripa Kori Vyasa Prati Kori Jachina Katan. In the Upa Puranas, we hear Sri Krishna showing his mercy to Vyasadeva by speaking to him as follows. Aham eva kvachid brahman sanyas ashramam ashrita haribhaktim grahayami kalopapa hatannaran. O learned Brahman, sometimes I accept the renounced order of life to induce the fallen people of the age of Kali to accept devotional service to the Lord. Bhagavata Bharata Shastra Agama Puran Chaitanya Krishna Avatare Prakata Praman. Srimad Bhagavatam, the Mahabharata, the Puranas, and other Vedic literatures all give evidence to prove that Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of Krishna. Pradyake Deka Hanana Prakata Prabhav Alokika Karma Alokika Anubhav. One can also directly see Lord Chaitanya's manifest influence in his uncommon deeds and uncommon Krishna conscious realization. Dekiyana deke jat abhakteragan ulukena deke jena suryara kiran. But faithless unbelievers do not see what is clearly evident, just as owls do not see the rays of the sun. Tvam Shila Rupa Charitai Parama Prakrishtai Satvena Satvi Kataya Brahmalais Cha Shastrai Prakyata Daiva Paramartha Vidam Mataischa Naiva Sura Prakritaya Prabhavanti Bodhum. O my Lord, those influenced by demoniac principles cannot realize you, although you are clearly the supreme by dint of your exalted activities, forms, character, and uncommon power, which are confirmed in all the revealed scriptures in the quality of goodness and the celebrated transcendentalist in the divine nature. Apana lukaite Krishna nana yatna kore tatapi tahara bhakta janaye tahare. Lord Sri Krishna tries to hide himself in various ways, but nevertheless his pure devotees know him as he is. Ulangita tribida sima samatishayi sambhavanam tava parivradima svabhavam maya bolena bhavatapi niguyamanam pashyanti kechid anisham tvad ananya bhava. O my Lord, everything within material nature is limited by time, space, and thought. Your characteristics, however, being unequaled and unsurpassed, are always transcendental to such limitations. You sometimes cover such characteristics by your own energy, but nevertheless, your unalloyed devotees are always able to see you under all circumstances. Asuras Rabhave Krishna Kabu Nahi Jane Lukaite Nare Krishna Bhakta Janastane. Those whose nature is demoniac cannot know Krishna at any time, but he cannot hide himself from his pure devotees. Dvobhuta sargo lokesmin daiva sura evacha Vishnu bhakta smrito daiva asurastad viparyaya. There are two classes of men in the created world. One consists of the demoniac and the other of the godly. The devotees of Lord Vishnu are the godly, whereas those who are just the opposite are called demons. Acharya Gosai Prabhura Bhakta Avatar Krishna Bhatara Hetu Jahara Hunkar. Advaita Acharya is an incarnation of the Lord as a devotee. Advaita Acharya Goswami is an incarnation of the Lord as a devotee. His loud cawing was a cause for Krishna's incarnation. Krishna Jadi Prativite Koranavatar Pratame Korana Guru Bhargara Sanchar. Whenever Sri Krishna desires to manifest his incarnation on earth, first he creates incarnations of his respectable predecessors. Pitamata Guruwadi Jata Manyagan Pratame Korena Sabar Prativite Janam. Thus respectable personalities such as his father, mother, and spiritual master all take birth on earth first. Madhurya Ishwara Puri Sachi Jagannath Advaita Charya Prakata Hoila Se Sad. Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri, Srimati Sachi Mata, and Srila Jagannath Mishra all appeared with Advaita Charya. Prakatiya Deke Acharya Sakala Samsar Krishna Bhakti Gandhihina Vishaya Vyabhar. Advaita Charya having appeared, he found the world devoid of devotional service to Sri Krishna because people were engrossed in material activities. Keho papi, keho punye, kore vishai bhog, bhakti ganda nahi jate, jai bavarog. Everyone was engaged in material enjoyment, whether sinfully or virtuously. No one was interested in the transcendental service of the Lord, which can give total relief from the repetition of birth and death. Loka gati deki acharya karuna hridoy vichara korana loka kaiche hina hoy. Seeing the activities of the world, the acharya felt compassion and began to ponder how he could act for the people's benefit. Apani Shri Krishna Jadi Korana Avatar, Apani Achare Bhakti Korana Prajar. Advaita Acharya thought, if Shri Krishna were to appear as an incarnation, he himself could preach devotion by his personal example. Nama Binu Kali Kali Dharma Nahiyar, Kali Kali Kaichik Habe Krishna Avatar. In this age of Kali, there is no religion other than the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. But how in this age will the Lord appear as an incarnation? Shuddhabhabe Koriba Krishnara Aradan Nirantaras Sadanye Koribaye Nibedan. I shall worship Krishna in a purified state of mind. I shall constantly petition him in humbleness. Aniya Krishnare Karon Kirtana Sanchar Tabise Advaita Nama Safala Amar. My name Advaita will be fitting if I am able to induce Krishna to inaugurate the movement of the chanting of the holy name. Krishna Basa Koribena Kon Aradane Vicharite Ek Shloka Aila Taramane. While he was thinking about how to propitiate Krishna by worship, the following verse came to his mind. Tulasidala Matrina Jalasya Shalukenava Vikrinite Swam Atmanam Bhaktebhyo Bhaktabatsala. Sri Krishna, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers him merely a tulsi leaf and a palmful of water. Shlokarta Acharya Korana Vicharan Krishna Ke Tulasi Jala Deya Jai Jan Tara Rina Shodite Krishna Korana Chintan Jala Tulasir Sam Kichu Kore Nahidana. Advaita Acharya considered the meaning of the verse in this way. Not finding any way to repay the debt he owes to one who offers him a tulsi leaf and water, Lord Krishna thinks, there is no wealth in my possession that is equal to a tulsi leaf and water. Tabe atma bechi kore rinera sadan. Tabe atma bechi kore rinera shodan. Eta babe acharya korana aradan. Thus the Lord liquidates the debt by offering himself to the devotee. Considering this way, the acharya began worshipping the Lord. Ganga Jal Tulasi Manjari Anukan Krishna Para Padma Bhavi Kore Samarpan. Thinking of the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, he constantly offered tulsi buds and water from the Ganges. Krishnera Avana Kore Kiriya Hunkar Emate Krishnare Koraila Avatar. He appealed to Sri Krishna with loud calls and thus made it possible for Krishna to appear. Chaitanya Avatare e Mukya Hetu Bhaktera Ichaya Avatare Dharma Setu. Therefore, the principal reason for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's descent is this appeal by Advaitacharya. The Lord, the protector of religion, appears by the desire of his devotee. Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Ritsaroja Ashe Shutekshita Pato Nanunata Pumsam Yad Yad Diyata Urugaya Vibhavayanti Tattad Vapu Pranayase Shad Anugrahaya. O my Lord, you always dwell in the vision and hearing of your pure devotees. You also live in their lotus-like hearts, which are purified by devotional service. O my Lord, who are glorified by exalted prayers, you show special favor to your devotees by manifesting yourself in the eternal forms in which they welcome you. Eishlokarartha kohe sankepe rasar bhaktari chaya krishner Sarvavatar. The essence of the meaning of this verse is that Lord Krishna appears in all his innumerable eternal forms because of the desires of his pure devotees. Chaturta shlokara arta hoila shunischite avatirna hoila gora prema prakashite. Thus I have surely determined the meaning of the fourth verse. Lord Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya, appeared as an incarnation to preach unalloyed love of God. Shri Rupa Raghunath Parijara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, 3rd chapter, describing the external reasons for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so now we'll sing Hari Harai. Hari Harai Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama
Hari Harai Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Gopal Govindaram Shri Madhusudan
Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra
Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Radhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raguna
Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath
Sri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raguna. 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 Sri Ji
Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan
Echai Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan
Jao Ete Vignana Shabista Puran
Jaha Hoite Vignana Shabista Puran
H.I. Gosai Jar Mui Taradas Tasavar Padarenu Mora Panchagras Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Abilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hare Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koryas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamudar Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Hare
Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charyashta Taro Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charyashta Taro Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Ragana Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Ragana Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai Sri Chaitanya Bhagwat Ki Jai Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai Anandakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai Shri Dham Mayapur Ki Jai Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Saparshada Shri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Shri Koladvip Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai Soquel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai Ganga Devi Ki Jai Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Sham Guna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai all the assembled devotees Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo
Bhagwan Janardan Maharaj ki jai.